What's going on, guys? It's 4:34 a.m. I've been up since honestly, I haven't been up since any time. I've been burning the midnight oil right now, and more so just because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I stumbled back into lust, and I just had this huge realization where it's like I mean, in the I have taken my relapses really seriously, and from the conventional Christian perspective, a lot of people would say, "Oh my gosh, give yourself grace. It's important to give yourself grace, so that way when you don't take every relapse seriously and you move forward." And while I do get that mentality, at the end of the day, how how much do you realize the gravity of your future when you go back to sin? Because, yeah, self-forgiveness is important, but when's the last time somebody told you, hey, if you don't get this out of your life soon, if you don't get this out of your life sooner or later, your future is screwed? When's the last time you've heard somebody say that? Most times people are like, oh, give yourself a pat on the back. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. You'll get over it eventually. But deep down, within yourself that if they wanted it truly bad enough, if they truly wanted to get their vices, specifically porn and masturbation, if they wanted it to get it out of their life just so badly, they wouldn't be saying stuff like that. They would be like, I have had it. This is the last straw. I am going to go all out, no matter the time it takes, no matter the time the time that it requires, no matter how early it requires for me in my schedule to wake up, to dedicate time to overcoming this. I am going to dedicate the time, because not only is the future I'm speaking in a general sense, not only is the future that God has for you, not only is that on the line, but your future family, your future wife, your future kids, the gravity of what you want to accomplish, all of that is on the line. That is, in the sense, if you truly want it bad enough. And for those who are watching this channel, you want something more. You want to go against the grain. You want to accomplish so much more than your predecessors or the people around you. You want to become such an innovator, such a high achiever, that other people will continue to think that you're crazy, you're not well, but you are just driven. And really, that is something I've learned when it comes to people who have ADHD versus people who are neurotypical in regards to the self-improvement journey. People with ADHD, their level of drive, not to say that both neurotypicals and ADHD don't have like this drive on like a similar level, but ADHDers, their drive just is expedited into such minute detail that oftentimes people who don't have ADHD, they think, oh man, this person's crazy. I don't understand what they're talking about. They're just looking into it too much. When no, they just need to break everything down into parts in order to carry out the framework of how to accomplish what they for their goals. So right now, this video that I'm making, not only is it used to inspire you guys, because every one of my videos, I take the time to think of what I'm saying. That's why when the cadence of how I speak, that's why I don't really write scripts for these videos, because I don't want it to feel like it's manufactured. It's coming from the heart. And really, my thought process when it comes to this, to success, even especially at this point as I'm recording this, because I'm digging deep towards my reason why. The biggest, the way my thought process works in terms of what I do to get to latch on to every piece of self-inspiration as I can, is I tell myself, okay, especially when it comes to overcoming lust, overcoming porn, I tell myself, and this is in part to a program I'm in, shout out to the retention formula with John Franco Martinez. I basically write down how, excuse me, how bad do I want it? And then I break it all down into saying, I want it bad because of this. I want it bad because if I don't attain it, then everything that God wants for me to accomplish would be a waste. If I were to go on my deathbed right now, if I were to peacefully pass away, I know for a fact that I would not be satisfied with everything with everything I've accomplished now. Not to say that I haven't accomplished anything. Of course, I've accomplished a monumental amount in terms of the constant spiritual warfare I've been through the constant trials and tribulations I've been through over the years, through the constant attacks of the devil, attacking my mind, attacking my thoughts with suicidal thoughts. I have, and I'm just saying this for perspective, because I think a lot of people, they forget how much they've grown from their situations, because for one, I think most people, they like to self-medicate with, whether it's weed, whether it's also some sort of drugs, to really numb themselves from the pain that they go through and not actually acknowledge what they've actually been through. And that's not it. And you know, obviously it kind of depends. I just say this in regards to, you know, like, I not like I have, you know, spent a prolonged period of time with somebody who's, you know, vaped or done some sort of drug, but realistically, the reason why people vape and do all sorts of drugs is, of course, you know, for the pleasure aspect and to self-medicate in some regard. But really, you have to give yourself credit where credit is due from where you've come from. Yet at the same time, you have to keep the momentum going, because your progress through those difficult times is meant to catapult you into accomplishing more when you've gone past that trial, you've gone past the war on your mind. When you've exceeded that war, when you've grown from that war, that's when God wants for you to go full force with the gifts he's had for you, because you've trained yourself to be resilient within those difficult times, and you've built up the resilience to the point when, boom, you're out of you're out of the cave, you're out of you're out of, you know, the trenches. You've gained that resilience in order to carry out your vision, carry out your skills. And so just go full force with it when you've gone in the clear. Do it. Keep doing it. And I think a lot of times when people go through something difficult and they kind of make it to the other side, they're like, oh man, oh man, I'm so glad it's older. Why don't I reward myself? Why don't I, why don't I just reward myself from with like, at the end of the day, like doing something that, and this is something I've learned myself. I think I've had those instances where I've gone through, those like the trenches, the mental, the spiritual warfare, and the moment that it started to get it easier, I when I got comfortable, instead of continuing to go about the process, the same process that I had throughout the mental warfare, I I got complacent, and I chilled out, and I relaxed. When that's not the point. The point is, it it it, it is to and this is something, like I said, I'm telling myself at this moment. I'm not saying all this because I have completely mastered it. I have not. I'm saying this as a way to 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 just extrapolate this wisdom that is not only useful for me, but is useful for you guys as well. Um, but when you've gone through past the mental warfare, the trenches, you, you keep using the 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 mental resilience you've acquired through that difficulty, and to just keep it consistent no matter what. It's the same thing when terms of people are wanting to achieve a fitness goal. The moment that they do it based on circumstance. If it's raining outside, they're like, "Oh, I just won't do it." But before, they were, say for example, they were constantly exercising every single day when the weather was sunny, and then all of a sudden when it becomes rainy, it's like, "Oh, well, it's not worth it." Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it no matter what the circumstance is. That's the inverse of the example I was mentioning about, like, when you're about the difficulty, and then when things get better, keeping up the consistency no matter if it's the inverse or not. Just keep up the path of where you are at. And especially for, I've learned with ADHD, especially on the path to being like uncommon, to taking everything that you admire so much, and respect yourself so much for accomplishing every single goal that you want to accomplish. You have to analyze yourself like you're dissecting a frog. You dissect this thought, this belief, this belief, and you have to put the right gears in the right place, and to make sure that you keep testing it. You keep realizing, oh, this gear wasn't tight enough. Let me tighten it some more. Got to fix this gear. Oh, got to fix this belief. Got to fix this belief, and it's a interconnected system. It's like when you're connecting to a Wi-Fi router. It's interconnected. First, the Wi-Fi has to go through this process in order for it to be connected. It's not just boom, Wi-Fi connected. No, there is a waiting period. And that waiting period is similar to our minds. When we are getting into the flow, and getting into the process, into accomplishing what we want to just get done, we have to wait for, I guess, what's the word? No, I wouldn't say wait, but we have to, for one, I would say give ourselves time to adapting, because it's not going to happen overnight. But at the same time, we have to continue to test and change our execution. Continue to test, continue to change, continue to test, continue to change. And we have to realize, okay, when I my productivity is more hyper focused at this time in the morning as opposed to this time in the morning. This is why I'm awake at this time, because I'm getting more done. Because I've noticed that for some reason my mind has been just not productive in like the late morning hours for some reason. And so I'm using this time as a way to prime my brain later on as the day goes on. Because you have to, on this journey for success, for those really just people with, you have to understand that, especially with the ADHD success journey, that you have to make sacrifices that people won't understand. It's not up to you to make people be on your side and make sure that they get it. You have to just love yourself so much that you're willing to wake up and to make the sacrifice and to get a head start from just with yourself. You have to consistently break yourself down, break your mind down by understanding how your mind is just primed for success. You can't expect yourself to just follow the same framework as other people whom you don't even understand anyway. So why follow something from people you don't even understand and you don't even resonate with? You have to create it yourself. And because people with ADHD, they are, in terms of success, they have a rare mindset. They set themselves up like they're putting together a computer. This output leads to this output, but if they do this output, it leads to that output. Like, I've learned that there's certain period in the day where if I have caffeine, I will get extremely exhausted. But there are other points in the day where if I had like an energy drink, I will be completely fine. And of course, that is also part of my health journey as well. Obviously, it's important to not rely entirely on like energy drinks, but you have to kind of take intel of what input works and what input doesn't work. And so if you find, okay, this is the time the input works, then go for it. And if you know that this other time is when the input is faulty, then make sure that input isn't implemented at that time, or else you'll notice the effects. So that being said, keep going, whoever you are, and especially for the ADHDers, embrace being rare. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tell you that you are too weird or too bizarre to go after for what you want. Because if God put it on your psyche, then he's put it there for a reason. So go after it. Stay strong. I love you guys. Never give up on yourself. Take the sacrifices needed to get to where you want to be, because this is the only life that you have, and you might as well go all in.